ultimately.
But are there ever times where you look at some of these kids, even the ones that don't go to the actual Micah home, and you think, where is God that he would allow so much suffering and such a poor quality of life for these kids who didn't do anything wrong? Do you ever ask that question?
We see such brokenness that it can keep you up at night. We see kids who have been born onto the streets, whose moms are mentally ill. They may be selling their bodies in order to survive. But we believe that God calls his church, and he has equipped us to be a light to this population. We are to go into the darkness with his light. We're to do that bravely, and we're to do that with the intention of bringing the brokenhearted to him. And so I don't question him for this broken world that we live in. I ask him to empower us to be able to be a light to that world.
Let me give you a Hebrews 10:35. Don't throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You have to persevere, and when you do, you will get what God has promised. I wonder, have there been times, though, where it's been tough to persevere for you, where you, I wouldn't say doubted God, but you're yelling, where are you now?
Yeah. Like I said, we've lost some kids, and Micah does not ever give up on a kid. We don't have a 3 strikes and you're out policy. We have an open door, so if a kid goes back to the streets and back to drugs, we continue to love them right on the streets as much as we loved them when they were in our home. We believe that God never, ever gives up on us, and so we don't ever give up on a kid. There was a kid named Jefferson. He was one who was born to a mentally ill prostitute, so he never had that, initial intimacy, initial attachment. The kids need to thrive, And so when Jefferson joined our group home as a 12-year-old, he didn't know what it meant to be loved or to love. And so we had to teach him that, but it was very difficult. And Jefferson because he also came in with PTSD. I remember one time someone just kicked a soccer ball that lightly brushed his leg, and it triggered a PTSD response, and he just started to rage. And we know how to handle PTSD, so we just gently got close to him, and we were talking in a loving voice, and we were just helping him to come down out of that. And eventually, he sat down next to me and just began to cry. And he'd ask me, Michael, did I do good today? And normally he didn't. Normally he was having a rough day because what he did. I would always say, yeah, Jeff, you're doing good. Keep on keeping on. We love you, man. And he eventually left the home, and he came back in a couple of times, but just the trauma and the grief drove him back to the streets. And then we heard about a month later that he had been kidnapped and killed by the gangs.
Oh, boy.
And, you think a 14-year-old at that time who lost his life, and you wonder why. You ask those questions. Again, we fight hard for these kids. We want them to do well. And we do realize that I have no power to change someone's heart. All I can do is be open to them and help them to pursue that. But in the end, they have to do that. And I believe that God is faithful even in loss. I believe that Jefferson is waiting for me in heaven, and one day we're going to be reunited, and he's in a place where he doesn't have that profound grief and loss from his childhood. It does hurt. We've lost 9 kids who we've loved deeply, but their loss fires us up to continue to do this work and to do it always in a better way.